Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of the Solar Panel. I'm your host, Greg Esposito. Ahoy, hoy. Joined as always by the Carmel Thunder from Down Under. It is Saul Bookman. And I love saying this when we have a guest because I'm sure it embarrasses the crap out of Saul. So, Saul, how are you?
A little bit. Not too bad. Not too bad. We got EJ on the show, so that's fun.
Hey, the man deserves a better introduction than just saying, "Hey, we got EJ on the show."
Well, I was gonna let you do the lead in. So
Okay.
there you go.
One of the best swingmen of the 80s and 90s in the NBA, one of the best broadcasters in the league now, and the man does double duty. He has a Sirius XM NBA show as well. It is EJ, Eddie Johnson. Eddie, how are you, my man?
Guys, I'm doing well. Woke up this morning, so that's a blessing in itself. And hopefully get an opportunity to see the Suns do something special on the road tonight. So I'm pumped.
You woke up this morning and then you had to talk to us. So that blessing took a step down right away. But
well, be quite honest with you, you were like third on the list.
Okay. Well,
I talked to Fox 10, a couple other people. I had to get myself worked up for you.
Well, good. We appreciate it that you could work us in your busy schedule between Fox 10, and then I'm sure you've got like 60 other things to do today as well. But EJ, I want to start here. The play the other night that has been dubbed the Valley-oop. Is that one of the best plays you've seen to end a game in playoff history?
One of them might be second to mine. When I something, I don't know if any of them beat mine. Just the shot and then the reaction and the high step and being hugged by Charles. I could have hugged the cheerleader, and then I turned around and I said, "No, I want to hug Charles."
That's a violation anyway. You'd have got a fine in the mail anyway.
I would have gotten beaten up. I would have gotten fined. That's what I would have got. Okay.
Just be happy you didn't do it in this era, because there would have been a 5-minute review before you got to hug Charles. So.
No, exactly. No, that was a tremendous play. I just tell people this: every out of bounds play, that is always the first option. People don't get it. And this is a guy that really took the ball out of bounds for most of my career. Why? Well, the guy that takes the ball out of bounds is normally the most dangerous guy, unless it's 1 second left. Then that's not the case. So obviously, Monty thought that Jay Crowder could make that pass. It's something that they worked on in practice. That's not something that they just thought up off the fly. Teams work on last-second opportunities all the time for situations like this. And so, again, it's always the first option. The best option was exactly what they were trying to do. Set a back screen to make Nicholas Batum help. That'll allow Devin Booker to come off. Jay Crowder hits him for a quick shot. So, it's a lot of different options in it. Jay Crowder made a great decision because he read it. He saw Nicholas Batum kind of hedge and not really be aggressive to jump in front. You throw the ball up there, and again, I've gotten so many inquiries from people, and I know people like from LA land was complaining that's goaltending. No, it's not. How can it be goaltending when the guy taking the ball out of bounds cannot shoot the ball in the rim? Simple. It was a pass, and when it's a pass from out of bounds, it's no goaltending. So the defensive player probably could have stuck his hand up through the rim and knocked the pass away. The possession doesn't count until somebody gets control of the ball. That's when it counts. So if DeAndre had caught it and say Zubac had grabbed the rim, that's goaltending. If Zubac had accidentally grabbed the rim before DeAndre caught the ball, it's not goaltending. So it's just a simple process, but it's a lethal play. 4 years ago, I called the one on Tyson Chandler. I saw it getting ready to develop, and I called it. I'm not going to pat myself on the back, but I did. But it was only because of my experience and knowing that's the same pass that I would have tried to make. And so it's something that has surprised a lot of people. But for the players, they always try to do it, and that one just worked.
EJ, what's the level of difficulty? There's a shot, and I'm sure you've seen the video from behind Jay Crowder, What's the level of difficulty from that angle to actually make that? Because it looked like he almost nicked the backboard with the pass.
That's what made it difficult. And even though he slid to his left before he did it as well, and so I'm surprised people didn't say he traveled because, that situation you can't move. But it's amazing, right? They can call traveling on you if you take the ball out of bounds, but you can't shoot the ball in. But it was a great, and that's maybe why Nicholas Batum didn't think they could make the pass because of the angle. Yeah. DeMarcus Cousins made a fatal mistake too. He guarded the outside because they were more worried about who? Devin Booker instead of guarding the inside, which brings me back to the analytical craziness that we deal with. They were more afraid of a three-pointer beating them with 0.8 than a dunk.
That's crazy.
That's the age we live in right now. For me, I'm like, no, force them way out there. If he catches it in 0.8 and he can make that shot, so be it. But to have a guy just catch it and just ram it in and you still have time left, that tells you how devastating that shot was. And so, it was executed flawlessly. Look, the officials going to the monitor and looking at it gave Monty Williams an opportunity to draw up the play and really break it down and tell guys what they need to do. And I'm glad it happened for the Suns. But in the future, I guarantee you, because of that play, it's going to be called the Monty Williams rule. They're not going to allow players to huddle up when officials go over and they're checking out something, especially if you don't have any timeouts left. That's a distinct advantage. And so I think that's a rule that's going to change. But Monty took advantage of it, and it worked.
But at the same time, Ty Lue also had 0.7 of a second, which ironically, there should have been at least 0.3 of a second taken off just because of the dunk. But they had 0.7 of a second, and they also got an extra timeout because they had to review the dunk for whatever reason. Like, it was plainly obvious that the dunk was clear and all that stuff. But going back to that play, you mentioned that it was basically executed to perfection. And part of that was Devin Booker setting the screen for DeAndre Ayton to be able to get up there and dunk. Devin Booker didn't have the greatest game in game 2, but he was still effective in his evolution as a player and a basketball player at this level. What have you seen from Devin Booker that has started to take him to that superstar level outside of the scoring, which we all know is great?
His relentless mindset. Like, nothing he does on the court takes him to the point where he's got to celebrate it. It's like, I'm supposed to do it. If you take a look at a lot of players, the players like Devin, especially, if you look in the past at MJ, Michael, Kobe, they didn't celebrate after a basket. They didn't celebrate after a great move. You get all these signs every time somebody hits something, and it's because those guys aren't used to doing it all the time. So they're excited about it because they want everybody to know they're excited about it. Well, Devin is just another day at the office. And that's the one thing that caught my eye with him as a young player, that stoic nature that he has on the court. And I think a lot of young players need to pay attention to that because it keeps you balanced. It keeps you in the moment. Case in point, the Clippers. They actually thought they had won the game. Even when Patrick Beverley got the turnover on Devin Booker and they had to foul Paul George, they're down there celebrating. Patrick Beverley walking around the arena, holding a finger up and pumping his chest at the crowd. And I'm up there watching, and I'm saying, the NBA is a 48-minute game. And the 24-second shot clock has made it that way. He out there celebrating. I want to say, Patrick Beverley, have you ever seen a game end like in a crazy way? Derek Fisher with the Lakers throwing in a shot. You never celebrate. And Paul George was immersed in that celebration. As a free throw shooter, you go into the line to almost seal the game. Your whole focus should be like a pitcher throwing a no-hitter. Let him sit by himself to concentrate on what he has to do. And that's his job description of making 2 free throws. They were so disjointed. He went out there and bricked both. And then on top of that, right? They're not cognizant to get the rebound on the miss from Mikal. And then they have a breakdown in how they're going to guard against the game-winning shot. So for me, you have to be the teams that win consistently and win at the highest level are the ones that concentrate the best, and they concentrate for 48 minutes. The Clippers failed themselves in that moment, and the Suns took advantage of it.
Is Devin Booker officially a superstar? Like, has he reached that level in your mind right now?
He's almost there. Look, the word great and the word superstar are reserved for those guys that have done it. The MJs, the LeBrons, the Kobes, the Currys. I'm holding off on KD, Kevin Durant, even though I know he's a superstar realistically. But has he carried yet like those guys? Has he put a team on his back like those guys? And I think we're waiting. That's when Devin will arrive as a superstar. So if I say Devin's a superstar, then I'm telling you that he's sitting in the same room as Kobe. He's sitting in the same room as MJ. Because to me, it's no better word than great. None. So if I'm going to call a guy great, that means he's just as good as those guys. Is he just as good as Magic? No. Is he just as good as Bird? No. But he's a star, and he has a chance to become a superstar if he does A, B, C, and D. And so the growth is still there for him. So, no, I'm not quick to put superstar on any young player that has not traveled the road of the greats. But me calling him a star and a superstar in the making, that should make him smile.
The Suns obviously going up against the Clippers. The Clippers have been down 0-2 before. They're coming into tonight's game, the same scenario they've had in the first two rounds. What are you expecting to see from both teams, especially with the return of Chris Paul?
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. It's not the same 0-2 that they've been used to. The Dallas 0-2, which was very complicated because they lost the 2 at home, is not like the Suns. The 0-2 to Utah is not like the Suns. The Suns are better than both of those teams. The Suns have more weapons than those teams. The Suns have been more concentrated all year long than those teams. Matter of fact, the Suns beat Utah in the series. They had the best road record this season, and they had the best interconference record. So, in essence, in my mind, the Suns were the best team all year long. And so that's the way I look at it. So I don't really worry about what the Clippers are, what they've done in the past. Because remember, guys, before the series started, after we saw that meltdown Utah went through being up 25 and they walked them down and they exposed the defensive player of the year in Rudy Gobert, I went public and told people, anybody that would listen, DeAndre Ayton's not Rudy Gobert. He can get on the perimeter and guard people. He's an athlete. He's quick enough and agile enough to not get caught up in that negativity of taking advantage of him. And also on the other end, he's a better offensive player. And so you've seen what DeAndre has done to them. Totally different scenario. If the Clippers want to bank on the fact that they've been down 0-2 and they've come back, they're in for a rude awakening tonight because this is not the same team that they've come back on in the past.
Last one for us, so then you can go talk to more important people. Is this Suns team special, EJ?
Extremely. I've been saying it all year, Espo and Saul. I've been saying it all year. First Take finally gave me some love, Stephen A. the other day. He said Eddie's been saying this all year about not only this team, but Devin Booker. They're special because they're a team. They don't waver. And you can't game plan against them. Think about it. Did the Clippers game plan against Campaign? Did they really believe he's capable of giving them 29? I don't think they did. But he did. DeAndre Ayton, did they think he was the same DeAndre Ayton pre-All-Star as he has been post-All-Star? Teams have pretty much dropped the ball in that respect, but this team is built to win. You never know who's going to jump out there and run with Devin and Chris Paul. You don't know. And that's the beauty of this basketball team. And they're always ready to do it. And they've done it all year long. They're hungry, man. I'm going to tell you something right now. Tonight's game is their game 7. Telling you. That's how you look at it. You know, forget about what the Clippers are worried about. Oh, we're down 0-2. No. Tonight is the Suns' game 7. Because if they win tonight, it's over because nobody's ever come back from 3-0. No one. So I think that should be their mindset tonight, and I think it will be.
He is EJ Eddie Johnson, one of my favorites. You can follow him on Twitter at JumpShot8. Highly recommend it. Eddie, we appreciate it, and thanks as always.
Can I plug myself? You can catch me on IG Live as well, doing the Suns run here, pregame, halftime, and postgame. I want people not to get enough of me, and I want to be like you too.
We can't get enough of you, Eddie, because you're everywhere, and we love it. We love watching it, my man. He's EJ Eddie Johnson. Check out that Instagram Live. I watch it. Even when we're doing our post game, I'm sitting here watching him on the phone just so I know what to say, so I sound intelligent. Eddie, love you, man. Thanks for joining.
All right, guys. Love you all too, guys. Take care.
Anytime you want to lose some money on that golf course, you just let me know.
Matter of fact, I got an opening spot tomorrow morning.
What? You just tell me what time and where.
Text me. I will give you the time, and I'll see you there. It's going to be at the. I'm not going to say where it is. I don't want to.
I got you.
Enjoy taking Saul's money.
Text me, Saul. I got an early tea time tomorrow at 6:28.
Let's do it, baby.
Enjoy taking Saul's money.
Combat golf at its finest. So bring a little money with you, okay?
I got you.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Eddie Johnson joining us here on the program. Always a pleasure. Saul, I don't think you have the kind of money that EJ is going to try to take from you.
No, this is I might have just set myself up for failure right here, but you're
not going to be able to afford that wedding you got coming up because EJ is going to take you to the cleaners.
That's hilarious.
Look, I always love EJ's perspective, and it's great to get it from a guy who's been in Jay Crowder's shoes in those final moments, inbounding a pass. A great look there. I want to mention our friends at Manscaped because I'm contractually obligated, and if I don't, they send people to our door. So make sure we're not promoting their clippers until this series is over, but they get lotions, potions, scissors, all sorts of things to help your boys out.
Lotions, potions, scissors.
Whatever it takes.
I don't think I've ever come across the scissors that they have, but okay.
Whatever it was in the kit they sent us. Jeez, do you not pay attention? They got boxers too.
I didn't get scissors.
Oh well,
I got boxers. I got a shirt. I got lotions. I didn't get no scissors.
Well, if you don't want your boys to look like Saul's chin, we recommend you take advantage.
I don't think people want them to look like your chin because your shit goes back so fast. It's ridiculous. It's only been like 4 weeks, maybe even less than that, and you've already got a fuller beard than I do.
Listen, I'm on my third lawnmower 4. That's how fast and how thick this stuff grows back. No, but if you want to experience Manscaped for yourself, head to manscaped.com. Use the code FlamingBallers. Save 20% on your order. Get free shipping. That's code FlamingBallers. Head to manscaped.com. Save 20% and get free shipping. So, Saul, before we get out of here in this quickie edition, any thoughts on the Valley Oop? I know we had our instant reaction the other night after the game, but now that you've had it sit and permeate a little bit, any thoughts on that? And any thoughts going into Game 3 tonight?
Yeah, after watching that play over and over and over again and just kind of letting it settle down, I think the most impressive part of that play was Jay Crowder's pass. It's not even debatable. I think it's more. I know people are going to talk, like you said, that it was the greatest dunk in Suns history because of the moment and all that good stuff. That's why I would almost debate that it isn't because of the pass. The pass, without that pass, that dunk doesn't happen. And it was done with such precision. It looked like Jay Crowder probably was going to make that shot on his own anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how good that pass was. And to understand the moment, understand what you're allowed to do in that moment, and credit to Monty for that. That's I think it's more the pass than it is the dunk. And as we move forward to tonight, like EJ said, for the Suns with Chris Paul coming back, Chris Paul is definitely, you just know he's definitely going to make sure that this team understands, like, hey, we need to take their heart tonight. They think they can come back 2-0. They have all this confidence because they've done it in the first 2 rounds. Regardless that this is a different team than those first two teams, the Clippers still have that false confidence. You got to take that from them, and you got to take it in a major, major way. That crowd's going to be crazy tonight. They're going to try and get them going. I think the Suns are in a great position to end this series because I just don't believe that the Clippers have what it takes to come back from a 3-0 deficit. So, because no other team in NBA history has, and I doubt that this is going to be the first. So, take the heart tonight, and I believe Chris Paul and the Suns will do just that.
What I love about that play to win the game the other night was it encapsulated what has made this team special. Jay Crowder's pass, Devin Booker with what appears to be a broken nose, whether they're going to call it that or not. A gnarly cut on his nose, swelling of his nose.
Yeah, that shit was like over here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was bent in impressive ways. Like, and so, and he doesn't argue, hey, Monty, I want the shot. He doesn't say, I can do this. Remember the bubble. He says, I'm going to go set a pick on their center. I'm going to get DeAndre Ayton open. We're going to win this game. If that whole situation doesn't epitomize, what this team's about, and Monty being smart enough to huddle those guys in that moment to draw up the play, even though he's technically not supposed to. And then DeAndre, people are like, oh, well, all he had to do was just kind of tap it in the basket. Timing of that jump, not letting Zubac get position after the pick, all these things, every aspect of that just kind of encapsulates what this team is about to me. So that play, I know recency bias, but I think as we get further away from it, and if the Suns reach their ultimate goal, that play will go down as one of the most important and best in Suns history. As for game 3 tonight, you're 100% right, Saul. It is time. The Suns need to step on the proverbial throat and end this. And the fact that they get Chris Paul back should counter whatever energy that the Staples Center crowd is going to bring. And I think Chris Paul is going to come out with that mindset, that single focused mindset of it's time to beat these guys. He obviously does not like the Clippers from his experience there. He has personal grudges, and he now has the understanding that his teammates lifted him up when he was out, and it's his turn to help do that for them tonight in game 3. You're right. Don't give this Clippers team any confidence, because if they win this game, they're going to be, well, we did this before. And irrational confidence is a dangerous thing in the NBA. It can even gaps in talent real quick. Vernon Maxwell wasn't that good of a player, but he hit a lot of big shots because he thought he could. And that's a dangerous thing. Don't give this Clippers team any confidence.
Chris Paul about to sneak through the secret tunnels and pour some liquid heat in their jocks tonight, I'm sure.
Whatever it takes to get the win. And he didn't have to travel because he's been in LA this whole time with his family. So no air travel wear and tear on Chris Paul. So he'll be coming as fresh as you can coming off COVID, I guess. So we will see tonight, 6:00 tip time here.
I have so many questions about that now. Like, really? I didn't know that. I didn't know he was in LA.
Yeah, he was in LA with his family.
He just drive out there once he got diagnosed with COVID?
I would assume so. Or he was already out there because they had a day off.
Or he took Southwest.
I pass no judgment. I've done stupid things too. Whatever. Good on him. However, he got to LA. He got to hang out with his kids for 11 days. So maybe that'll recharge the batteries as well. That's the thing. Chris Paul just got a real long amount of rest too, which for a guy his age, yes, he had COVID, but it sounds like he was asymptomatic. So he got some rest in there as well. Will be interesting to see how he comes out the gates. Big thanks to our friend Eddie Johnson, EJ, jumping on the show for us today. Follow him on Twitter, JumpShot8. Follow him on Instagram. Watch those Instagram lives. They are quite entertaining. But we gotta get Eddie a tripod for that phone camera because he's holding it, and we need to set him up with some equipment. But he's very entertaining to watch. So he is Saul Bookman. You can follow him on Twitter at Saul_Bookman. The underscore is there because Eddie Johnson is going to take so much money from him on the golf course tomorrow that it's going to fill that gap between the Saul and the Bookman. You can follow me at Espo on Twitter. You can follow the show at Sun Solar Panel. And we got plenty of exciting things coming up. If you're listening to this before the game, make sure to tune in to our live post-game show. We will be there with the Suns Jam Session fellas on YouTube Live, and then it'll be on the podcast stream afterwards. So for Saul Bookman, I'm Greg Esposito. We'll talk to you next time here on the Solar Panel. Ahoy, hoy.